Hey, what's going on out there? This is Rais coming at you live on Facebook. I might post this later on YouTube as well. But I just wanted to take a second to talk to you about feminism as a distraction from white supremacy. And I think I can make a good case here. But if not, challenge me in the comment section and we'll talk about that. So one of the things I wanted to talk about is just recently I was listening to a lecture from, oh man, I forgot the guy's name. I can't even remember his name. Anyway, he wrote a book called The Color of Law. If I have my other phone, I will look it up. He wrote a book called The Color of Law. You know, one of the problems I have with this Facebook Live thing is there's no timer going as you're recording the videos. And I don't like my videos to go long, but sometimes I get lost. But anyway, he made a video. He wrote a book called The Color of Law. If you look it up, that's the author. And he was doing a lecture yesterday talking about. He was explaining that black people earn 61% of what white people earn. Meaning that we earn 61 cents to the dollar. Now, you always hear feminists talk about 71 cents to the dollar. But what you never hear feminists talk about is the wealth gap between blacks and whites. And they don't mention a wealth gap at all between women and men. And one of the reasons they don't mention the wealth gap between women and men is because more often than not, women are the inheritors of men's wealth. But black people are not the inheritors of white people's wealth. And so when you talk about black people earning 61 cents to the dollar of white people, we only hold 5% of the wealth of white people. 5% of the wealth of white people. And so you're talking about black people who earn enough money to live in certain white middle class. Sorry about that. Should have turned the sound off. Who live in certain middle class white neighborhoods, but hold significantly more credit than their white neighbors and their white counterparts. And that has to be the case because they don't come with the wealth that white people come with that allows them to facilitate the level of life that they're living in comparison to the life that black people are living. And so one of the problems we have with feminism is it takes away the energy that black women will bring to the black community. Now, this is not to say that black women should not have issues with black men. That is not to say that. But the issues, feminism is an attempt to attack a masculine power structure. Black men have no masculine power structure. It doesn't mean that there are no black men with power. It just means that black men have no masculine power structure. So for black women to be feminist against black men is really a futile effort because black men don't have power. Black men don't have power over their own bodies. I mean, when you talk about the initiation of Black Lives Matter, the initiation of Black Lives Matter is a result of black men having the least amount of power over their own bodies. Right? Black men don't get to choose where they live. They don't get to choose where they work. They don't get to choose where they get educated. They don't get to choose their family structures. Black men don't have this kind of power. And so to have a black feminist amongst black men is a futile effort, but it's not a futile effort if you are operating parallel with white supremacy. And so the goal of white supremacy is to keep white men in power. Like, that's the goal. And white women know this. So white women tell you about feminism, but they marry the very patriarchs that they're complaining to you about because that's how they inherit money. So when you look at the top 20 billionaires in America, two of them are women. One of them is, I can't remember her name, but it's Sam Walton's daughter. Sam Walton was the founder of Walmart. His daughter is a billionaire. And the other one was the Hershey's girl. She's a billionaire as well. Both of those women inherited money from those men, right? And so I'm saying there are no black men on that list that inherited money from white men, right? So black people stay locked out while white while black women are aligning themselves with white women. But white women are receiving the inheritance of white men. Black women receive nothing. And so the point I'm trying to make is black men and women need, there are issues between black men and women, but they aren't power issues. They aren't issues of structural power. These are issues that we need to work out amongst ourselves in really a loving context that white people may not have the ability to do because of the nature of the power structure. And really, I don't think white women are interested in breaking down the patriarchy as they suggest they are, because they keep marrying into it and reproducing it with their sons. And don't think that there's not a benefit. As I pointed out, there are 2 white women in the top 20 billionaires where there are no black people, right? I mean, like Oprah is a billionaire, but Oprah's not in the top 20 billionaires. And so ultimately what I'm suggesting is that black women have to step away from feminism as it regards to black men. If you want to align with feminism against the white power structure, which I don't think that that's what feminism is doing, but if that's what your claim is, then focus it in that direction. But don't turn it towards black men, right? Black men are already at the bottom of the barrel. They are target number 1. And I'm not saying that black women aren't targets as well, but I'm saying we've all heard the stories in the Bibles of they kill the men and enslave the women and children. And so the point of that being is that the target is the men. Right? You enslave the women and children because even these predators don't want to look like predators, right? So there's some justification that they can have for their action and their regard towards black men, right? Black men are criminals, right? I mean, realistically, black men commit an inordinate amount of homicides. So one could see where there would be some validity in sort of a law and order type of position against black men, right? But to take that position against women and children makes you look like the animal you are, and they don't want to look like animals. And so the point that I'm trying to make is that there needs to be a reassertion of the effort of black people, particularly descendants of slaves, to realign ourselves with each other and our cause moving forward. Because I'm telling you, feminism is a distraction from white supremacy. Feminism is a distraction from white supremacy. And the numbers I gave you in the beginning are an indication or proof of what I'm suggesting to you, that white women are claiming that women make 71 cents to a dollar, but black people make 61 cents to a dollar. And feminists never bring that up, right? If you're going to make a case for against the patriarchy, you would think, hey, we make 71 cents to the dollar, but black people make 61 cents to a dollar. And this is what the white patriarchy is doing to black people. But feminists never take that position. They never take that position because while they're talking about how much they earn, they never tell you how much they inherit. And black women, you inherit nothing from white people. Nothing. And so that, to me personally, that should not be your alignment. You should not be aligned with white women in support of feminism and women's rights, because all of that is a farce. At the end of the day, they go marry those white men. The white men they're complaining about, they go marry them. But not you. You can't marry their men because they don't want you to inherit their wealth. I mean, black women have the least amount of wealth. I think that black women on average have like $5 of wealth, and where the middle black family is worth $1,700 in wealth, and I think the middle white family is like 120,000, something like that. And I'm saying that they're inheriting their wealth. They're getting black women to align themselves with white women, but white women are inheriting the wealth of the very men that they're complaining about. And so this is something that I think that you need to talk about amongst yourselves, amongst your family, amongst your friends, and see what conclusions that you guys could come to about how feminism is a distraction from white supremacy. Feminism is a distraction from white supremacy, right? Our focus should be taking down white supremacy, but that is not the focus of feminists. And as they draw black women over to the feminist side, they're taking away the energy we need in our movement right, to bring about justice for the 40 million descendants of slaves in America who built this country and have inherited essentially nothing as a result. So white people are passing wealth, passing wealth, passing wealth, passing wealth, right? They build up these communities where they can create more wealth, right? And not include you in the process, right? They build these cities, O'Fallon, Missouri, St. Peters, Missouri, Kirkwood, all these cities where you locked out, where black people are locked out, but somehow they got your women to support their feminist rhetoric. And I'm saying, if they can't share the wealth with you, black women, you should not be aligning yourselves with them. Find yourself some decent black men, because there are some decent black men, and align yourself in support with them for the cause of black people. We have to get justice in this country because we have more than anybody else put more into America and got the least amount out. You can get immigrants who come over here right now today and know for a fact that they are going to get more out of this country than you are, having put almost nothing into it. Right? And so we have to be more aware of ourselves, of our own value, of what we are worth as American citizens. Right? What we are owed, not the handout that people keep saying. Like slavery was a handout. We did all the work. They took all the rewards. Jim Crow was a handout. We did all the work, all the bottom work, all the gutter work that made this country what it is. And then they made all the money off of it. Right? And then when you talk about redlining and Jim Crow and mass incarceration, like this is just billions and billions of dollars being created and we are being locked out of it. Meanwhile, they got our women's focus on this feminist bullshit. And I'm saying that's not our struggle. Let white women have that. That's their business. Whatever gripe black women you have with black men, have that gripe. And believe me, I support you because that gripe is valid. Many of those gripes are valid, but you also have to be willing to understand that black men have some gripes too that are valid. And those are things that we need to work out amongst each other. But feminism is about elevating white women in the white power structure. Elevating white women in the white power structure. Because believe me, you are not going to be the leader of white women in the feminist organization. Black women are not going to be the leaders of feminism in the white power structure. Thank you guys for giving me your attention.